basic rule of when dividends are taxable is when they become due and payable, and that is different under company law whether it's an interim dividend or a final dividend. Generally, a final dividend can't be revoked by the directors and therefore is taxable when it's declared, whereas an interim dividend can be technically revoked until it's physically paid in most cases, and therefore that is the date that it becomes taxable. We had an interesting case recently just upheld by the upper tribunal where we had two shareholders, NG and PG. NG had their interim dividend paid on the 5th of April. PG, prior to the interim dividend being declared, effectively waived their right to receive it on the same date, and they were non-resident by the time the dividend was paid to them on the 16th of December. This is quite important in their case because we're talking about a dividend to each of them of £20 million. So because he's non-resident, he's not paying any UK tax on his £20 million dividend. So there's significant tax at stake. The courts held that because PG had effectively waived his right to receive the dividend on the same date, that we did not have to treat them equally, even though they held the same class of shares, and therefore his dividend didn't become payable until it was physically paid by the company. So in this case, it actually was good planning that it did become taxable on the 16th of December when he was non-resident. Obviously, if you're going to try and plan something like this, you're going to have to be very careful that you do, under company law, ensure that the dividend is payable on a different date, and it happened to work in this case. But obviously HMRC are going to be scrutinising things like this very closely if you are trying to change payment dates between different shareholders of the same class. So a little bit of a warning, but clearly it worked in this case, which must have saved PG millions of pounds worth of tax.